Welcome back to Psychonauts 2. Today we're going to meet the Aquato family Circus. These characters are built to be as opposite as possible from the agency, and the devs really play that up because Raz has to feel humiliated about his family. Every kid has that, couple of years where they're like, oh man, if my family shows up, that's going to be so embarrassing. Like, Mom, I can go to the sleepover on my own. Well, this is that same feeling, but in a huge cartoonish world. So obviously the family is really embarrassing and cartoonish in reality for Raz. But that sort of impact is what it's going for, and an adult audience would recognize that immediately. We would understand what's going on here. Yeah, Raz is embarrassed about his family because he's in that phase. And the entire universe supporting that interpretation and that, thing that Raz is going through is just how you tell stories. It's wonderfully done, in my opinion. Now, you might think that this family circus is a little bit too cartoonish, but this is a world where if you inhale pepper, you can literally sneeze your brain out, and then your empty-headed body walks around looking for a TV to watch. They're not too cartoonish. They're just embarrassing. This introductory cutscene, I've put it in VLC so that we can watch it in any order we'd like, comes in 3 phases, and the first phase is definitely the best. This is a phase where he talks to his dad, and the strength of this game is how it gets the player invested in these cutscenes, invested in the reality of these cutscenes, and it does that by moving. These cutscenes never stand still, not the good ones anyway. They're always pulling the player into whatever's going on ever deeper. And that's what we're seeing here. Things get folded back and unrolled constantly, and as they do, the emotions of the scene keep evolving and changing and growing richer. You start to understand more about what this person wants or fears or thinks or expects, and what that person wants and fears and thinks and expects. And it just keeps rolling forward with that constant undercurrent, powered entirely by Raz's worries that his family is humiliating him by just showing up. That is a really wonderful way to do it, and we're going to go over it now. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be chopping this scene up, rewinding and fast forwarding and stuff, so you're not going to be getting the rich experience you would be if you just watched it straight through, but I will play it straight through at the end. So if you want to see it straight through on your own, just fast forward to the end and then watch it through first.
No, it couldn't be.
Scanning for thinker.
Dad?
Rasputin, my boy. Tell me, son. Did you show them? Did you show them all?
Well, yeah, we rescued Truman from the kidnappers, so I guess?
That's my boy. So I suppose that means you're running this whole place now.
So there we have a very stable introduction. We've got an embarrassing dad that loves his son. It's a very, very stable place to start. And we already understand the richness of this setup. We already understand that this is a family that is very tightly knit and loves each other. And here, standing on this foundation, we can begin to unfold things. And we can begin to reveal how embarrassed Raz is to have his family show up, and start to understand that a lot more of his family showed up than he might be expecting.
Dad, what are you doing here?
What? Well, we're here to support you, son.
Notice the background elements here?
We?
Of course. You really opened my eyes about the whole psychic thing, son. I've been acting like a fool, I know that now. But your mother, I knew she'd need more convincing. She's not, after all, like us. Psychics, I mean.
You don't have to whisper that here.
That was wonderful. I just love that bit where he talks about his wife and sets her up as something of a loving antagonist, and then calls back to the time when it was hush hush that there were psychics. It just feels great because you really get that sense that his family is not coming from this kind of place. His family is from a completely different set of concerns. He's out in the sticks. And I really love how the emotions of this scene keep getting richer and compounding because of the standard motivations that we all feel, that we all know of when it's like, oh no, someone I love has showed up, but they're not a good fit for this particular environment, and it's going to be embarrassing. That's pretty close to universal, and you can get a lot of mileage out of it.
So I thought if she saw where you were working and met all your new friends...
My mom's here.
Son, the whole family is here.
So that's the end of the first third of the cutscene, and I really enjoyed that bit. This part I'm not such a fan of. It's not that it's too cartoony, it's that the pacing isn't quite as punchy as I'd like. So, in theory, what you'd do at this point is you would cut to a scene that shows their whole family, his whole family, having wrecked the place. Like, there's their wagon over there, and they're, like, setting up a circus tent right here in the middle of Psychonauts headquarters and whatever. But instead we get a long sequence, long in terms of editing, it's like 2 or 3 seconds, where we just get people running around, leaving the building. This is just not snappy. Now, I understand the idea is that we have to understand that Raz is being followed out here by the people who he wants to have respect from. But it really diminishes the sudden oomph that you get out of a good reveal. And to make matters worse, he goes,
"Oh, no."
And then what do you expect to see? You expect to see something catastrophic, something super humiliating. Oh, it's almost nothing. This isn't really humiliating, it's just kind of slightly goofy. Now, the family acting goofy is humiliating, but that impact, the visual impact that we would like, so that he immediately feels humiliated, so that oh no is warranted. I think they needed some more visual punch. I think they needed to show the family all in a group acting silly right from the start, or show them trying to set up a circus tent and kind of arguing with men in black about whether they're allowed to, something like that. The setup where, they just happen to be standing around here doing silly stuff, it doesn't have the level of visual impact. It's got the level of story impact. Yeah, these people are doing embarrassing things, but visually speaking, I wanted more.
My little booty! Have you been practicing your acrobatic?
So did you notice that the mom's introduction came with shots of the snickering background crowd, over-the-top hang time, and of course embarrassing hugs? And now she's, checking up on him, greeting him. This part is a little bit overdone, but it is a cartoon show, so, I can accept it.
He's definitely let his muscle tone suffer.
Hey!
So we're just getting an introduction to each of the family members.
I think he's put on a little weight.
And we understand that his older siblings are not exactly tender.
He's not as flexible as I prefer. Pull harder.
And now here we enter into the third phase of the cutscene, where it winds down, and we get integrated back into
Just
headquarters.
what is going on out here? Rasputin, stop goofing around and explain yourself. Who are these people?
We are the Aquatos. Traveling thrill givers and practitioners of the acrobatic arts.
Great. Well, this is a highly restricted area. The campgrounds are over the hill. Now, if you wouldn't mind hauling that wreck off our landing pad.
Hollis, we have gotten past the phase where you are an unrelenting bitch. In theory, you were redeemed, so why are you still being an unrelenting bitch? Why did they write Hollis acting like this?
What did you say?
If it's too much
Donatella
trouble
is
to haul
right.
it, I could always burn it for you.
Please, excuse her.
Did you see that? Let's go ahead and just rewind it a touch.
I'd always burn it for you.
See these little white streaks? Oh, I love when they use those kinds of subtle... it's just a particle effect. They used it on Donatella earlier when she was jumping through the air. But just using these tiny little effects to make sure that the effect they're aiming at lands. You know, you got to have that feeling of motion, and you only have a couple of frames to establish it.
Please, excuse us. We are Rasputin's family. We've come here to support him, not get in the way. We'll move our caravan to the campgrounds.
I want to play in the jet.
Maybe your brother can give us a tour later. Whenever he's ready, he knows where to find us.
So now they've set up the basic ideas.
Bye, Pooter.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Lizzie is the best character. He crawls out from underneath something. That was all pretty good. I enjoyed it. The first chunk was, to me, the best part because it really moved. We had a lot of emotional elements that got a chance to really see the light of day and get richer and leave a really strong impression of the universe. Later on, we had some slight missteps here and there, but for the most part, I felt that was a pretty good scene, and it was a really fun set of characters. We'll talk more about their integration into the game in some other episode, but for now, I'll just let you watch the cutscene through once on your own. So here it comes.
Dad?
Rasputin, my boy. Tell me, son, did you show them? Did you show them all?
Well, yeah, we rescued Truman from the kidnappers, so I guess?
That's my boy. So I suppose that means you're running this whole place now.
Dad, what are you doing here?
What? Well, we're here to support you, son.
We?
Of course. You really opened my eyes about the whole psychic thing, son. I'd been acting like a fool, I know that now. But your mother, I knew she'd need more convincing. She's not, after all, like us. Psychics, I mean.
You don't have to whisper that here.
So I thought if she saw where you were working and met all your new friends...
My mom's here.
Son, the whole family is here.
Oh, no.
My little booty! Have you been practicing your acrobatics?
He's definitely let his muscle tone suffer.
Hey, hey, hey!
I think he's put on a little weight. He's not as flexible as I prefer. Pull harder.
Just what is going on out here? Rasputin, stop goofing around and explain yourself. Who are these people?
We are the Aquatos! Traveling thrill givers and practitioners of the acrobatic arts!
Great. Well, this is a highly restricted area. The campgrounds are over the hill. Now, if you wouldn't mind hauling that wreck off our landing pad.
What did you say?
If it's too much trouble to haul it, I could always burn it for you.
Please, excuse us. We are Rasputin's family. We've come here to support him, not get in the way. We'll move our caravan to the campgrounds.
I want to play in the jet.
Maybe your brother can give us a tour later. Whenever he's ready, he knows where to find us.
Bye, Pooter.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.